Hey guys, and welcome to my stimulus package update and stimulus check update. Wow, I haven't said those words in so long. I want you guys to know that I missed you more than you missed me, and I'm happy I'm back here for you with another video just to give you my perspective on everything that's been going on.
Right now, I think all of us are very aware of this $200 per month raise for millions and millions of Social Security, retirement, ssdi, survivors, SSI, and VA beneficiaries as originally introduced about 2 years ago back in 2020 by a small handful of Democratic senators, including Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, and Ron Wyden. At that time, back in early 2020, when they originally introduced this proposal, the economy was starting to shut down, COVID was starting to spread a little bit at the time, and the unemployment rate was starting to move up. At the same time, inflation was only about 2 to 2.5%. Almost seems unreal right now, considering fast forward, now that we're a few months into 2022, it seems like, whoa, at that time, inflation was only 2 to 2.5%. Yeah, it was at that time. Very, very low, very normal. That's where the Federal Reserve wants inflation to actually be, is about that 2 to 2.5%. Here we are 2 years later, and we're pushing 8% inflation year over year. So let's quickly talk about this $200 per month raise now and why now is actually the time versus even though a couple years ago it would have been absolutely amazing to get that $200 per month raise for all of these millions of beneficiaries. But now that we've lived through it and we know that they didn't actually follow through with that, let's discuss why now is actually the time to get this done versus even a couple years ago when they wanted to get it done. It would have been great, but realistically, it is a much better time to get it done now. It mostly hinges all around, yes, the cost of living. I think all of us are on the same page right now when we completely talk about everything going on out there, as well as the cost of living and inflation, how things are continually rapidly rising. Now, also, we are also very aware with everything going on globally, right, around the world. As a result of things going on the other side of the world right now, the United States is likely going to be facing increased inflation and price rises here over the coming weeks and months for sure. So as a result of that, we can look back at the landscape in early 2020 when the current bill and the current proposal was actually introduced, right? Basically what they wanted to do at that time was send out a $200 per month raise for millions and millions of beneficiaries, about 65 to 70 million beneficiaries at the time to receive a $200 per month raise for the next, it was just short of less than 2 years. So it would have been going through the end of 2021 as the original proposal stated. However, that was then. Let's fast forward now, about 2 years later. It was almost 2 years ago that this original proposal came out. The landscape is very different. Here's what's different now. Yes, the unemployment rate has been brought back down. The economy, for the most part, is opened back up. Again, some sectors, some areas are still slow. Maybe some have completely closed down, things like this. But for the most part, the economy is better. It's not the same place that it was 2 years ago, but it's better, right? However, the main situation we have going forward now is this massive inflation and increased prices. In fact, we've seen this from a number of different people out there. Economists, analysts, even people from the Senior Citizens League have been talking about right now how this small 5.9% cost of living adjustment that these millions of beneficiaries have received in 2022 simply doesn't cut it anymore. Well, yeah, let's look at the numbers here. The cost of living adjustment here in 2022, as we all know, is 5.9%. Okay, well, most people have been getting that for a few months now in your monthly benefit. Here's the problem. Inflation right now, like I just said, is pushing 8%. Well, you're already behind by over 2% already, right? So it's not really making sense now. And the problem with it is the cost of living adjustment is not going to increase and it's not going to adjust until early 2023. Again, it's an annual adjustment. It is not a monthly adjustment. It's not a semi-annual adjustment. It is a one-time adjustment each and every year. So the next cost of living adjustment would be coming in early 2023. Well, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, especially now that the cost of living adjustment is 5.9%. It's simply not keeping up with this inflation that continues to run away from everything that's going on. So the point is, as it comes down to it, this $200 per month raise that was proposed 2 years ago, at the time, sounded amazing. But realistically, what they really need to do now is reintroduce the $200 per month raise for the millions of beneficiaries living on a fixed income, as we see from time and time again, all of the experts, the people out there speaking right now, that the low income and the fixed income are the ones who are taking the brunt of all of this inflation right now, and these little raises to benefits as a result of the COLA raise is not going to cut it anymore. It is simply not cutting it. It didn't cut it from the time that they announced the COLA raise back in October of 2021. Yeah, at the time it seemed reasonable. But as we worked our way through the second couple months, or the last couple months of 2021, and now into 2022, a few months, it's way behind. We're way behind where the cost of living adjustment should be. It should almost be adjusting on a monthly basis at this point going forward. Now again, obviously that would probably never happen, and if it did, it would take a lot of legislative work to get that to be amended, but at this point, during a very high inflationary period that we're going through right now, it's almost like these adjustments should be made on a monthly basis. So now that we're talking about this $200 per month raise, and again, I want to make it very clear, they have not passed anything, but as I was looking through all this research and everything that I've been reading on this, I feel like, you know what? Right now is certainly the time that they would need to do this versus 2 years ago. And don't get me wrong, I think they should have done it 2 years ago, but considering they didn't, now that we're talking about it 2 years later, right now is absolutely the time that they should absolutely get this done. So I want to reach out to you. Of course, I'm going to do what I can to reach out to Congress. I'm going to reach out to the Senior Citizens League as well and say, hey, remember this? Of course they remember it. Everybody remembers it. We all remember it because it was one of those situations where we were all very excited for it, and then it never actually happened. So I'm going to reach out to some people here and see what we can do to get Congress to reintroduce a bill like this to help out millions of beneficiaries. Now, here's something else we also recognize. Based on a video from just a couple days ago and from all the research that I've been doing and introducing here in these videos, we do know that Congress does want to work on the Social Security 2100 and the SSI Restoration Act within the next month and a half or so from right now, and they want to get these things passed through, or a version of them, sometime before the midterm elections. Again, that's coming up quickly as well, right? We're already a few months into 2022. The year is going very quickly already. So the point is, they want to get some things done here. What could they do to automatically secure probably 65 to 70 million votes going forward? Again, it's not going to secure every vote, but for the most part, what could they do to really help out a huge portion of our population here in the country? Well, by offering a $200 per month raise would certainly get a lot of people lifted out of poverty and certainly lifted back up to a quality of living that a lot of people would be much more happy with versus trying to scrape by right now on a very small benefit. And maybe they don't even need to implement this $200 raise for everybody out there. In fact, they probably don't. The higher income people probably don't need a $200 per month raise on their benefit. But maybe anybody around maybe 150% of the federal poverty line or anything like this, again, just kind of throwing out some ideas, but maybe they would determine like, okay, anybody with an annual benefit of 150% of the federal poverty line or less would maybe get this $200 raise. Again, I'm just kind of throwing out some things because this would be another way that would be easier to sell these ideas to Congress and actually get these through. So anyway, I might actually write another letter that I can send out to Congress. Again, send it out by email, send it out through the mail, reach out to the Senior Citizens League, but I'd love to hear from you. Also, make some phone calls. That'd be another very good one as well. But what could we do to really kind of hammer this point home to Congress? What can we do to all stick together? Because realistically, I think we could have a pretty solid case here, considering the inflation and all of these lawmakers, maybe not all of them, but some of the high-profile lawmakers are truly understanding right now that yes, okay, the inflation is out of hand, we've got to do something about it, and they also recognize that the low income and the fixed income are really struggling right now. We know that evidenced by some recent information released by what Nancy Pelosi has said, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders has mentioned, even the president and the press secretary, Jen Psaki, has also mentioned it as well. So they recognize that the low income and the fixed income, in other words, Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI, VA, all of these beneficiaries are really struggling right now. So anyway, I feel like if we had a case to build right now, this would probably be a pretty good time that we could build a solid case for why they would need to reintroduce this $200 per month raise.
Alright guys, this is all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really missed you. Hopefully I'll see you here again very soon. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe if you haven't already. And click that notifications bell to be notified that whenever I publish new videos for you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.